Welcome to Beatty Park online workout series. Today we're going to be showing you some exercises for during pregnancy. It's not uncommon to be experiencing back pain, groin pain, feeling quite fatigued at times, and also going into evening cramps. We're going to give you some exercises that are really purposeful to help prevent a lot of these issues, or at least minimize them. The relaxin hormone in the body that occurs during pregnancy can create a lot more hypermobility within our joints. So stability is very important. Our upper body strength is also still important, as well as our lower body strength. But you'll find that your upper body strength and your upper body postural awareness becomes increasingly a priority. We have the shifts and changes in breast tissue, which can sometimes lead to very rounded shoulders, or also known as kyphotic posture. So we're going to focus on some really great exercises that will help bring you back into balance. The key exercises will be focusing on stability, strength, and mobility. All you'll need for this workout is a blanket or perhaps a towel. If you have a body pillow or a bolster, this also may be very helpful, or even just 2 pillows will suffice. And a mat to actually lie on. That's all you'll need for this workout. We look forward to sharing this workout with you. So let's go. So let's get started with placing our pelvis in a very comfortable position, which will take a lot of the load off the lower back. So imagine my hands as your pelvis. What we're wanting to do is think at the front, which is like our little tips of the hips, or the iliac crest. We're actually thinking about bringing our hips forward. So if you were to place your hands on your hip bones, imagine that they are like 2 little torches that you're shining forward. You want to tilt the pelvis forward so that the torches are shining down towards the floor in front of you. And if we were to tilt the pelvis in the other way, as in roll back, then the light projected from these torches would come right up to the ceiling. But we're wanting to be in this position to take the load off. So to do that, what I suggest is if you've got a yoga block, you can use that, or alternatively, just this little blanket roll or towel that we suggested earlier. Just comes underneath the base of your sacrum, so underneath this part, and you can take your knees slightly wide and just allow your hips to tilt forward. So first of all, it's very important that we focus in on breath. This is very important, not only during the pregnancy and mostly associated with during labor, but also post-labor, when we can start to become potentially a little bit sleep deprived, and this can affect our mental and emotional health. So very important tool is always taking it back to the fundamentals. And you know what that is? Breath. So we're going to start by just feeling one hand on our heart and then just stroking baby, softening the breath. And we're going to come into a breath that's known as fallout breath. So we're going to breathe in through our nose. There's no breath holding, and we're just going to allow our jaw to relax and our mouth to almost say like an ah. In through the nose and breathing out, ah. Just try this a couple of more times. Breathing to baby, softening. If we're in a relaxed state, we're also able to produce another hormone called oxytocin, which can help to reduce pain and bring a little bit of lightness into our day. Okay, first exercise, we're going to allow ourselves to still have our pelvis tilted forward, but we're going to be focusing in through the spine. So I'm going to show this to you side on. So still placing our blanket or towel underneath our tailbone with our legs crossed. We're going to comfortably rest our hands onto our knees, and we're going to go into Vidalasana in yoga, which is like cat-cow. but in a seated position. So this gives you the option to be able to do this in a seated position. If you're still working at home, you can also do these in your chair as well. It doesn't always have to be on the floor. So we start off with a particular order. So chin comes towards our chest. Our ribs are going to draw back towards our hips, and we're going to roll our pelvis back and allow our head to drop. Then we're going to start from the tailbone by releasing the tailbone, allowing the ribs to sink forward, shoulders engage back, and eyes are going to look forward. So chin to chest, ribs to hips, roll all the way back and feel that pressure on the knees, and then coming through the other way, rolling all the way up. Now you can do as many as you like, and in fact I'd like you to do a lot more than what I've just shown you here, but that's just showing you our first base exercise. Our next exercise to help release the upper thoracic middle back area, which can sometimes get quite locked in pregnancy, is upper body spiral circles. This is a really nice exercise, and I'd like you to start off very, very small to provide a lot of relief for a lot of that postural associated change. So one hand reaches up towards the ceiling, and you're going to take one hand behind your head. The other hand is going to grasp onto your free elbow. So we start by just drawing a little tiny spiral with our body. You'll feel that the isolations from the ribs, so the hips stay nice and stable and still. And if you are feeling quite comfortable with these movements, you can take them a little bit bigger. And I'd like to encourage you once again to do that nice relaxed breathing. And you can take them the opposite direction. May I suggest every time you come back that you breathe in, and every time you come forward that you breathe out. Once again, there's a lot of repetitions there that you can do. I suggest 10 in one direction, 10 in the other direction. The next thing we're going to be doing is just basically focusing on keeping the pelvis neutral. So the way that we're going to do this is lying down on our mat. Once again, I'm going to show you side on, so you've got a bit of an idea of where we're going with this. So the knees are up. We're going to lie our head down nice and flat. I'm going to be focusing on tilting our pelvis back and flattening our back into the floor. As we tilt the pelvis back, we're going to breathe in. And as we flatten into the floor, we're going to breathe out. We'll let our fall out breath. So breathing in through the nose, fall out breath, ah. For that particular exercise, do as many as you enjoy, because that is a really nice way to help recalibrate the pelvis and just also get us used to feeling what it's like to be in neutral pelvis position. Our next mobility exercise is on all fours. So we're going to start by just taking our hands nice and flat on the mat in front of us, tailbone back. And once again, I'll go into a sideways view so you can kind of see the position that we've got. So we don't want our hands too forward, we want them directly underneath our shoulders, fingers spread. And we're just going to start by just letting baby drop down and come up off the spine. By allowing our spine to come down, it actually helps to release a lot of the load on the spinal muscles. Okay, it takes the pressure off those nerves, and all of those spinal nerves also feed into the uterus. So we just allow a little bit of a release to start off with. But we don't want to be staying in this position for too long, because this is a position that we're normally in due to that frontal load of gravity pulling forward with baby there. So we're going to come into a neutral position with our spine. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow our shoulder blades to draw back and the eyes to look forward, and we want to stay neutral because we don't want to excessively reinforce this posture because we're already in that most of the day. Instead, we're just going to go from neutral. And then we're going to come back, chin to chest, ribs to hips, and curl under. So you can do a few of these, which is very, very similar to what we did when we were sitting. But next we're going to go into pelvis rolls. So you're going to start off really nice and small. We mainly focus through the tail as we do these pelvic rolls. And then we can start to make it a little bit more dynamic. So we can bend into the elbows. We can create figure eights. We can allow ourselves a lot of mobility, and you can just play with this. Even just relaxing the eyes closed, darkening that light that's coming into us. We can actually allow ourselves to create a lot more oxytocin as we do this. It's really nurturing and nourishing to work into the shoulders and into the hips. So that's part one, mobility exercises. So I hope they provide you a lot of relief. And remember, you can up the repetitions to just a little bit of fatigue.